Hi, I'm Bruce Johnson, and I'm going to be leading you on this virtual tour of the historic Grove Park Inn. When it opened on July 12, 1913, it was praised as the finest resort hotel in the world, and it lived up to its reputation, attracting such celebrities as Henry Ford and Thomas Edison, and Presidents Coolidge, Wilson, Roosevelt, and the Obamas, who came twice. Now, since then, the inn has had 2 additions added to the main inn, which brings the number of rooms up to 512. It also now has 2 ballrooms, 4 restaurants, several meeting rooms, and shops, making it the ideal location for our annual National Arts and Crafts Conference. Edwin Wiley Grove was a millionaire pharmaceutical manufacturer who had homes in St. Louis, St. Petersburg, and here in Asheville, where by 1913 he had accumulated more than 1,000 acres of land on and around Sunset Mountain on the north side of the city. City officials convinced Grove that a resort hotel built on Sunset Mountain would be an instant success, as the city had already established a reputation as a haven for tourists wanting to escape the summer heat in the south and the harsh winters in the north. Grove's son-in-law, Frederick Loring Seeley, seen here on the right with his friend, Secretary of State, and 3-time presidential candidate, William Jennings Bryan, offered to design the hotel and to serve as the general contractor overseeing construction. Seeley suggested that they utilize the numerous deposits of granite rocks and boulders found on Grove's extensive holdings to build the walls of the 6-story hotel. Without the aid of forklifts or cranes, the men hauled rocks down the mountain in wagons, then wheeled them up long ramps before lifting them into place. Fred Seeley left explicit instructions for his stonemasons. First, he wanted the rocks picked up off the ground, not blasted out of a quarry. Second, he wanted them to have their natural appearance, so if there was any moss on them, he wanted that left alone. And finally, he had them push all the mortar to the back so the rocks would be visible and not the mortar. And that was in keeping with Frank Lloyd Wright's theory of organic architecture, that the structure should be built of the mountain, not on the mountain. At the heart of the hotel is the Great Hall, which was far more than just a typical hotel lobby. At either end, 2 twin fireplaces dominated the room and its 30-foot ceiling. Inspired by the Old Faithful Inn at Yellowstone National Park, the fireplaces looked like they could have heated the entire hotel. But in truth, the Grove Park Inn featured every modern advancement in heating, plumbing, refrigeration, and entertainment for its guests, many of whom stayed for several days, if not weeks, at a time. After the inn opened in 1913, Fred Seeley leased it back from his father-in-law and provided his guests with every available form of entertainment, from silent movies, lectures, and recitals here in the Great Hall to an indoor swimming pool, a 3-lane bowling alley, and pool tables downstairs in the recreation room. Outdoors, they could go hiking, ride horses, take automobile tours, play tennis and golf, or simply soak in the afternoon sun on the open terraces. Long before he arrived in Asheville, Fred Seeley had met Elbert Hubbard at the Roycroft campus in East Aurora, New York, where he placed an order for furniture for his home. When it came time to furnish the Grove Park Inn, Fred Seeley again turned to his friends in the Roycroft shops. For the Great Hall, he ordered this custom Roycroft 8-foot tall clock, which craftsman Victor Toothaker designed and for which he most likely made the hammered copper face and hardware. Seeley also ordered 400 Roycroft oak dining room chairs, each bearing the GPI initials, along with several corner cupboards and sideboards, along with hundreds of copper lighting fixtures and lamps made in the Roycroft Copper Shop. The Great Hall has undergone a number of changes, but still retains its arts and crafts character and heritage. gone are the rocks around each of the 6 massive columns, but they've recently been encased and illuminated by contemporary craftsmen working in the arts and crafts style. The original wicker furniture has been replaced with a comfortable blend of contemporary furniture, quality reproductions, and arts and crafts antiques beneath the Roycroft chandeliers. And it never seems to matter what season it is, people still love to cozy up next to one of the 2 twin fireplaces to enjoy an evening in the Great Hall. During its brief history, the Roycroft Furniture Shop is believed to have made 5 grandfather clocks, and the Grove Park Inn has 2 in its collection, the 8-foot clock and the 6-foot clock, which I believe Fred Seeley ordered for his personal office. I think this one was made around 1917 after Victor Toothaker, who designed the 8-foot clock, had left the Roycroft shops. Not only did Fred Seeley order Roycroft furniture and lamps for the hotel, but he also sold Roycroft items in the gift shop, originally located in one corner of the Great Hall. The hotel is undoubtedly responsible for sending hundreds of Roycroft books, lamps, and copper items home with guests from across the country for nearly 30 years. While he was no craftsman, Elbert Hubbard loved creating mottos so much that he had many of them printed on cards and sold in gift shops. Fred Seeley also loved inspirational slogans, so much in fact that he had several of his favorites painted on the rocks inside the Great Hall. While we could spend hours more here in the Great Hall, I'm going to let you do that exploring on your own when you come back for the next National Arts and Crafts Conference. Right now we're going to go up to the 3rd floor Palm Court, part of the original main inn, so you can see why it is that so many of our attendees make the reservation months in advance to get one of the rooms in the main inn. As he was designing the Grove Park Inn, Fred Seeley insisted that the stonemasons make each of the Great Hall fireplaces large enough to include an elevator shaft leading up to the 3rd through the 6th floors where the guest rooms were located. Both elevators have remained in service ever since 1913. We are actually standing right now on the ceiling of the Great Hall, which is 2 stories tall, which means we're now on the 3rd floor of the Grove Park Inn. And this is called the Palm Court. And that's because since 1913, these 4 oak planters have been here, and they've always had palm trees planted in them. And that's why Fred Seeley called this the Palm Court. It's a wonderful, quiet retreat when you're ready to escape all the noise of the Great Hall. Standing here, it is not hard to imagine what it felt like staying at the Grove Park Inn in 1913. The Palm Court still has its original Roycroft ceiling lights, and the area has been furnished with accurate arts and crafts and old hickory reproduction furniture. Over the years, the original arts and crafts stencil was painted over, but it has more recently been documented and duplicated by a local artist who spent nearly an entire summer working on it from scaffolding. The Palm Court is also considered the home of the Pink Lady, the inn's resident ghost. She occasionally appears to guests here as a young woman in a pink gown, furthering the theory that she fell to her death from one of the balconies overlooking the Palm Court. Although the Roycrofters were unable to supply all the furniture for the 150 guest rooms in time for Fred Seeley's deadline, they did create enough bedroom pieces for the well-respected White Furniture Company of Mebane, North Carolina, to take over the contract and furnish all the guest rooms based on Roycroft designs. The Roycroft Copper Shop, however, was able to make more than 1,500 signed drawer pulls for all the bedroom furniture, leading some people to incorrectly assume that a dresser or vanity made by the White Furniture Company had been made by the Roycrofters. Today, the main inn rooms still retain their arts and crafts character, even though they now consist of a combination of original antiques and recent reproductions. Room 441 was where author F. Scott Fitzgerald lived for much of 1936 and 1937, while his wife Zelda was kept at a mental sanitarium a mile away. Fitzgerald had one of his many disastrous affairs with a married woman staying at the Grove Park Inn, whom he spotted reading his novel, The Great Gatsby. Reportedly, his pickup line was, "Why read the book when you can have the real thing?" After Fred Seeley's death in 1942 and World War II, the 40-year-old Grove Park Inn fell out of favor and fashion. In 1953, Texas billionaire Charles Sammons purchased the hotel. He and his wife Elaine, shown here with one of their managers, began a restoration and expansion program, including the 1984 Sammons Wing. During the Sammons era, which lasted until 2009, the management at the Grove Park Inn made a concerted effort to purchase original vintage arts and crafts antiques and to supplement them with quality reproductions for the hallways and meeting rooms. They even went so far as to track down this original 1913 pool table, which had been in the Grove Park Inn when it opened. The President's Lounge at the end of the Sammons Wing hallway offers guests another quiet spot, this one with a panoramic view over downtown Asheville with the Blue Ridge Mountains as a backdrop. It also offers a great view of the west side of the main inn, as well as the Vanderbilt Wing, which was built in 1988 and also furnished with a blend of antiques and new works in the arts and crafts style. This concludes our brief tour of the Grove Park Inn, but I hope you'll come in person for our next National Arts and Crafts Conference, when you'll have 3 days to fully explore what has become known as the finest arts and crafts resort hotel in the world. Thanks for watching.